Recently, I discovered that my life was a lie. I thought the words were subtraction or subtract. Now I know they are subtraction and subtract. Daily confirmation of my imperfection. In this episode of How to Conquer Maths with an Abacus, we are going to explore how to subtract with a soroban. The general idea of subtraction is the same as the idea of addition. If you can simply make the operation with what you have, do it. If you don't have enough beads, which means that you passed the barrier of 5 or 10, then you move the beads needed and compensate. This makes basically 3 cases of subtraction of digits. Remember that A is our first number and B is the number we want to subtract from A. First, if B is larger than A, then remove 1 from the next column and add the difference with 10. As an example, we have this. In 15 minus 6, I remove 10, 1 of the next column, and I add 4 to the 5. A more complicated example would be 14 minus 6. Then I would remove 10, 1 of the next column, and add a 4 to my 4. But then I should remember the rules of addition, and as 4 plus 4 passes the 5's barrier, I add a 5 and subtract a 1, thus making it an 8. Second, if the barrier you pass is the 5, not the 10, you take off the heavenly bead and compensate. For example, 8 minus 4, I remove the heavenly bead, but I didn't want to subtract a 5, but a 4, so I add a 1. And third, any other case is only about removing the corresponding beads. To subtract more than 1-digit numbers, you subtract each digit. But beware! In addition, the order of addition, right to left or left to right, does not matter. And in subtraction, it also technically does not. But in practice, it's better if you subtract from the higher order to the lowest, as it requires less memory from you. Also, in addition, it does not matter if A is larger than B, but in subtraction it does. You should always subtract the smaller to the largest. If you must subtract a larger number to a smaller one, use each number as I told you and consider the result as a negative number. With all this, let's see an example. 8 equals 54,122. B equals 42,571. First step. Subtract the 10,000s column. In 5 minus 4, I have to remove the heavenly bead, making it 0, but I didn't want to subtract 5, but a 4, so I add a 1 to compensate. I pass to the thousands column. 4 minus 2, I only remove 2 earthly beads from the 4. In the hundreds column, 1 minus 5, 5 is more than 1, so I have to take off a 1 from the thousands column, but I didn't want to remove a 10, but a 5. So I add this extra 5 with the heavenly bead down. With the tens, 2 minus 7, happens something really similar to the last step. I take off 1 from the hundreds and add a 3, but I don't have 3 more earthly beads. So I add a 5 with the heavenly bead and remove 2 earthly beads. Finally, with the units, we remove an earthly bead from the 2 and make it a 1. And voila! Now we have our results. I hope this helped you. I'm going to make a next video about multiplication with an abacus, so if you want more of this and you liked it, make all the YouTube protocol and stay tuned for the next video. See you soon!